Hey everybody, we're back, and this video is about 10 things that we learned in our first year being on the road. Videos that have pretty pictures and us prancing along the beach and looking at, all these different things. Those are beautiful things to look at. But sometimes just plain old facts to help share what we've learned on the road and how to stay within our budget is important. And this is not going to be a pretty beach coastal show. This is going to be a 10-point things that we have learned. Details coming up on RV Street.
Number one, stay within your budget. Traveling and living in your RV is not a full-time vacation.
No, we've learned that if we treated this like a vacation, and we're going to go here, we're going to go out to dinner at this place, we're going to go down here, and oh, this is only $35 to enter and to go over there, $10 parking, blah blah blah. You can blow your budget real quick.
I mean, some people don't have to worry about that.
Right.
Most people do, like us.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, it's you have so much money a month that you want to spend or can spend. And you've got camping fees and fuel and groceries, and you've got, well, let's take, for instance, unexpected things. Something unexpected comes up, like when we got our car whacked when we were going through Pennsylvania. Okay, so we had our deductible on our insurance, we had a rent car, we had other costs involved there, and that blew our budget that month. We went over our budget. Now, we were able to make it up from months prior, and now we're kind of living on the thin to kind of make it up. But it's those unexpected things, too, that we've got to pay attention to.
There's many ways to save money. I tend to be cheap, as you know. I look for free things to do within the area that we're in, like the National Air Force Museum in Ohio.
Yeah.
We did a video on that, I think.
Yeah, we just got through doing a video on the land museum here in Maine. Now, that wasn't free.
But it was only $12.
It was $12.
I mean, we're not saying stay housebound.
You're right.
You can get out and you can do things, but you don't have to pay really high prices to get out and do things.
Yeah, and so we've really learned how to, well, we're still learning, but there are a lot of ways to have fun, but we just have to watch our budget. And if we had an unexpected thing come up and it blew us out of the water, then that means, well, next month we may have to cut back a little bit.
I tend to cook a lot. I cook at home most of the time.
And she's a great cook.
Aw, thanks, baby. Going out to dinner all the time, eating out all the time is a huge amount of money.
Yeah, budget breaker.
So we tend to, when we go somewhere for the day, we'll pack a picnic with us, and that's always fun.
Yep.
I cook at home.
Mm-hmm. Our 1,000 Trails membership, boy, has that saved a ton of money on our camping fees. And we tend to try to stay in a place. When we arrive in a destination, we usually like to stay 2 to 3 weeks. Mm-hmm. We don't like to just go somewhere and keep moving on and moving on and moving on, because it brings stress to the family. We spend a whole bunch of money on fuel, and we don't really get to explore where we are.
Exactly.
So that's another thing how we learned how to stay within our budget. Number 2. Being flexible, because things are not always going to go according to plan.
Indeed.
Planning is good, and it's necessary.
You always have to be flexible as to what you're doing, what your plans are.
Yeah, I mean, you could arrive at your destination, and you plan to be there a week or whatever, and something comes up. Something comes up. Either bad weather's coming and you want to get out of there. Maybe your coach broke down and you need to take it into an RV shop or have a mobile guy come out and repair it. you forgot to make reservations. You thought you made reservations, and then on the way there you realize, oh my God, I didn't make reservations. And so you call, they're not available. You got to find a plan B.
Or you're just tired. You're driving longer than you thought you were going to, and you're tired.
There are a plethora of things that will happen along the way that you were not planning on. And this was especially a big lesson for me because I'm always Mr. Planner, Mr. Detail. I want, I like order. And this last year and a half, I have learned, I'm kind of proud of the fact I'm not braggadocious about it, but I have noticed, and even Joni's commented, how I am much more fluid now. I don't get stressed out. It is what it is. We just tend to roll with it. And thank God for Joni because she's our activities director.
Yeah.
And when things come up and the plan didn't work, I just leave it to her and she works it out.
It's kind of a keep calm and roll on.
Yeah.
Just figure it out as you go. It's
Yeah.
not a catastrophe. It's just different.
So being flexible is important.
So, number 3,
Mm.
it takes at least 6 months to a year to get everything organized in your coach so you know where everything is.
Yep. We told you in the very first video when we were in Florida, we took 18 months of working and modifying and getting our coach ready. And this is how we got it. We think we got it down. And even during that time, we took probably about 20, 25 different small trips, and kept testing out things and tweaking it and getting it just right before we hit the road.
I still moved things.
It's taken, and our advice is, it takes at least 6 months or a year to really begin to get things where they belong, where they fit, where they're supposed to be. It just takes that time to do that.
And you would be absolutely amazed at how you can lose things in 320 square feet. It's really easy.
It is. We discovered that living in an RV, in our motorhome, everything that we have is either in drawers, in bins, plastic bins, or in the bay. It's nothing like in the house. So everything, you open up a cupboard, you pull out a plastic bin of something. You go into the storage bay, you pull out a plastic bin of something. So learning to be organized, having everything fit, compact, don't carry extra baggage. Oh, I don't need that, but I really need this. That all takes. We're just now getting to where we think
I've got to say, I would put things, because I kind of organize the inside, and I would put things where I thought I wanted them. And a month or two into this, I would move it, and it would drive him crazy. He'd go, "Where is?" And I was like,
yeah, where are we keeping this today?
I moved it again, but I think I finally got it.
And just as a last comment, about clothes, we carry a lot of clothes.
We do, actually.
And especially since we decided to come up here to Maine, we're like, well, we're probably going to have cold nights. We need our jackets. And then you go in, it's hot, and you need shorts and blah, blah, blah. I like all my clothes hanging. She decided, I hate my clothes hanging.
Hated it.
I want shelves. I want my clothes folded and neatly into little compartments. So I built her some shelves while we were here. So that's just another thing that we learned that we're still tweaking and putting the final touches on how we like our coach organized. Number 4, and I'm going to pick up on this one because this is my baby.
This is all you.
Maintenance and keeping an eye on things. I have been anal about this all my life anyway. I'm a gearhead. I love working on stuff. I can fix stuff. When we had our house, I had a ton of tools, and I knew going on the road, there was going to be a lot of things coming up, and I wanted a full-blown tool bay, spare parts, lubes, sprays, caulks, all this kind of stuff. And so I equipped the rig. I have one entire bay dedicated to all that stuff. And every time we do a leg, we'll travel 150, 200 miles. After we get all set up, I have my first cocktail or whatever, under the chassis I go on my cardboard. And I'm looking for things.
Mm-hmm.
I'm making sure nothing got bounced and stuck up in there. I don't have any leaks. The tires look great. This has proven to be a really, really important thing, because I have several times found something like, oh man, I'm glad I came underneath here and saw this. That you really have to keep an eye on things. You cannot just keep rolling down the hill like you're on a full
Right.
vacation.
Yeah.
This is your house. This is our house.
In all honesty, when he was putting all of this stuff in there, taking up all of the room for the tools and the caulks and all of that stuff, I thought, oh, geez, this is way out of hand. But as it's turned out, he's actually needed it.
And another thing I wanted to bring up is a TPMS system. We really watch our tire pressure on the Toad and our motorhome. I feel this is extremely important. So I keep an eye on that. We have 10 sensors and an easy TPMS system. And the last thing is, when you first start out, and when we first started out, there's so much to remember when you set up camp and when you break camp. It's impossible to remember everything. Bringing in the awning, turning off the propane, are the chairs folded in? Did you close these doors? Did you lock down the bed? I mean, so what I did is I made a master inside sheet and an outside sheet, printed them off, and whenever we got ready to wrap up and get on the road, Joni had her list, I had my list outside, and we went through the checklist. And now it's rote. Now we know we have muscle memory now.
Yeah, I think that's a very important thing to do is definitely have a checklist, because if you don't, you are definitely going to forget something.
Yeah.
Number 5, we've learned to watch the weather. This is a biggie.
Yeah.
We do not like driving in the rain at all. First, it's harder to see. You have to.
The road conditions are more unsafe.
Yeah.
You watch the news just like we do, and you see these flooding rains, and we got a tornado warning, and all. We're not going to be driving during that. So we watch the weather pretty much every day, but we really zero in on it when we're getting ready to get on the road. To watch the weather, we do it basically these ways. One, we watch local weather on TV. Always on my laptop, going to weather.com, or we'll actually drop a pin on the map on where we are and look at that forecast. In the event, we have had a couple occasions where we didn't have local TV and we didn't have cell service, but we do carry with us a NOAA radio. And that NOAA radio will give us all of the warnings or alerts if there's any, because that works off a satellite. So that's how we kind of monitor weather.
Or if all else fails, jump in your car and drive to a Walmart parking lot where there is internet.
Yeah, and we have done that too.
Yep.
Which is a perfect lead into number 6. Cellular, Wi-Fi, and hotspot.
Wi-Fi.
I picked that up from Pawn Stars, how the old man used to call it Wi-Fi. I think that's funny. But cellular, Wi-Fi, and a hotspot. So there's a lot of ways that you can approach this subject. I am not going to get into all the different ways. I'm going to show you.
No.
We're going to discuss what we did. Android phone. I have an iPhone, but we both have T-Mobile. And we have an unlimited data package. We have unlimited text, call, data, $120 a month. We use our phones as a hotspot, and I installed the WeBoost on the back of the coach, and that has come in handy so many times.
Yeah.
But even with the WeBoost, there's been a couple of times where it didn't give us a cell service.
Yeah, we just had nothing.
We had nothing. If you don't have cell, you don't have hotspot. You don't have hotspot, you don't have internet, you don't have nothing. So when we came up here to Maine, we ran into that situation when we went into the national park. One of the parks that we were going to stay in was way out in the middle of nowhere. No cell service, no phone, no nothing. Well, we found out that Walmart has a great stopgap option. You go into the electronics department and they have there an AT&T Samsung Galaxy unlimited prepaid phone. And so you buy the phone, and I think it was like $85 or something.
You can buy a cheaper one, but that was the one that was kind of recommended to us
for that area. Yeah. So you buy the phone. This is an extra phone that you just buy, and it has its own SIM card. Then you buy a $65 unlimited data card, and you load that card, that prepaid card, onto the phone. And now you have for 30 days unlimited data through AT&T on that phone. And you can use that phone as your hotspot. Okay?
Right.
Now the beauty of this is if you're there for a month, you can use it. The data is gone after 30 days and you can just put that phone away. And then the next time you need it, maybe in Michigan or in the desert or in Tucson next year or whatever, you pull out the phone, you go back to Walmart, you buy a new SIM card, which is like 12, 15 bucks.
Something like that.
Put in a new SIM card, buy a new data card, $65 for unlimited data, and you're good for 30 days again. So this is a really good option when you're in a dead area, and it's fairly cheap.
Yeah. And let me say, the phone that you buy, we just used it for, the data, the internet, but it's a phone. You can use it to make phone calls and, whatever. Yep. We have our own phone, so we didn't use it for that, but you can.
Yeah. So that's kind of a summary of how we deal with and what we've learned, what the options are, and how we handle cellular, Wi-Fi, and hotspot.
Okay, number 7. Buying groceries and carrying water.
Yeah.
This doesn't really seem like, you have to be brilliant to figure this out, but we have learned buying groceries isn't like what it used to be when we were at the house. When we had the house, we knew where the grocery store was. It was 5-10 minutes away. Just run over there and grab what you need. You don't know where the grocery stores are when you arrive at your destination. You have no clue. It could be 30, 40 minutes away. So you don't just run to the grocery store.
That's right. And we don't have the big, gigantic 28 square foot refrigerator that we had at the house either.
No, we do not, which really limits you on the amounts that you're buying. You have to be real conscious of what you're buying to fit in the refrigerator and your pantry area for that matter. Yeah. The reality of it is we go to the store once a week anyway, so you don't really need to stock up on a whole bunch of stuff. Yeah.
The thing is, we have a 2-door absorption refrigerator. It runs on propane, 12 volt, and electric. So, and we like it like that because we can boondock on with that thing with not a massive battery bay and all that. And it's fine for the two of us. Some of you will have a big residential refrigerator. You can buy as much stuff as you want, and that's fine. But we have learned for us. So when we go to the store, we have a specific list. There's only so much room to put stuff in. And here's the big thing. Before we go on the road, we don't say to ourselves, oh, we really need these few things here. We'll get it when we get to our... No. We learned that there's been a couple times when we got to the next destination, there was no grocery store. It was an hour away.
Yep.
So when we're in a good spot and there's a store just 10, 15 minutes down the road, we stock up before we leave.
The other thing is not every store is going to carry, like even Walmarts, they don't all carry the same product.
Yep.
Depending on what region you're in.
Yep.
As to what you can get. And sometimes it's really hard if you do all of the organics and all of that, you may not find all of that product there.
We've really made some major adjustments into our diet We're cutting out a lot of salt, a lot of the GMOs, and we're going to some of the organic things and stuff like that. We won't go get into all that, but a lot of these stores don't carry that stuff.
Yeah.
So grocery shopping on the road can be somewhat difficult. I want to talk about water real quick. We've already did a complete video on how we do our water. You can watch that video in full detail.
Mm-hmm.
But we do not carry big 5-gallon jugs of water. We don't carry cases of water. It takes up room. It takes up weight. It wastes plastic. But we always travel with at least 1/3 of tank
Yes.
of fresh water in our tanks. So if we get tired, we get broken down, something happens, we have always got water to wash our hands, take a potty break, whatever. We've got 1/3 of a tank, which is about 33 gallons or so.
And also, you know, we've been in parks. There's a break somewhere, and they turn the water off.
Yep.
If you don't have some water on board, you're definitely without water until things get fixed. So I highly recommend.
Yeah, we've learned it's a great idea to carry some onboard water. Number 8, buying gasoline on the road. I wish I had some video to show you how how we reconnaissance and how we pick a gas station and how we navigate to get in and out. But unfortunately, I can't be out on the street videotaping that because I'm driving. But I'm going to try to give you the best explanation of how I learned how to do this, because I'm the one that does all the driving. First off, our tank holds 80 gallons of gasoline. And I always start looking when we're about halfway. When that tank says halfway, I'll just look over at Joni. She's on her iPad. She's looking at the GPS. And I just give her a little heads up. Joni, let's start looking ahead, and let's just see what's up, what's coming up. I like to run. I do not like to get below 1/3 of a tank. And here's why. Number one, I don't want to get myself in a position where I run real low, because when the gas tank runs low, our fuel pump is down in the tank. And I do not want that fuel pump to be pulling up sludge and things that have built up over the years. I want it always to be circulating in nice, clean gas. The second thing I like is that the fuel pump that is down in the tank, that fuel pump is about 8-10 inches deep, long. And it's DC, but it runs at about 100 degrees Fahrenheit. It gets warm in there as that motor is turning in that fuel pump, pumping fuel to the engine. It's warm. So by keeping that gas tank full of fuel, it runs a lot cooler, and that fuel pump will last a whole lot longer. We always use top tier fuel. I'm not looking for the cheapest fuel, Costco and Walmart. I don't use that fuel. I want top tier fuel. So we'll take a gamble and we pull off the interstate. And as we're driving by, I've learned how to quickly assess. You got to remember, our coach is 35 feet long plus our car. So I am 54 feet long and we cannot back up. So you have one shot. You have one shot to get in and have an exit strategy, and you have to assess that in about 5 seconds.
And sometimes, if I have the time, I can do Google Earth, and I can get a satellite view of that area. That doesn't always
work
happen. But you need a really easy in, easy out strategy. And we've bypassed many gas stations.
Yeah, I mean, but see, our gas tank is on the left, right by the left rear tire. So I always have to be on the outside gas lane. So when we exit and we're going and we go by that gas station, I'm quickly looking. Number one, is that outside lane open? Number two, is the entry path a good path for me and the car? And the most important thing is, once I get in there, can I get out?
Without backing up.
Without backing up. Those are the 3 things I look at. And after a while, and sometimes we'll look by and we'll go, nope, nope, that one's not. And then we'll go down a little bit further. We'll look at the other station. Maybe. And then if it doesn't work out, we'll just go down the road until we see a big driveway. We'll pull in, we'll turn back around, get back on the freeway, and go down to the next one.
And sometimes we go, oh man, that was a good one. Too bad we missed it.
Yeah, that has happened. Man, we blew that opportunity. But anyway, it takes time. But it's, you just have to learn how to, we've learned how to just assess quickly.
Yeah.
The path in, outside lane open,
Yep.
Is there an exit strategy? Oh, and the last thing I want to put here, regardless of whether we tow or not towing, we get 7.5 miles to the gallon.
Yes.
And that's good for a coach like ours.
Number 9, using earplugs while sleeping. This one may sound silly to you, but
Yeah.
you will definitely want to invest in some earplugs.
Yeah.
There are noises everywhere.
Campgrounds, they can be noisy. You want to go to bed, it's been a hard day, you go to bed at 10 o'clock, you're trying to watch TV, and they got a party next door. They're playing the music, they got kids out there playing, or whatever. Maybe you parked next to a road and you got constant traffic. Or one that we ran into.
Oh, the train.
The train. We did not know this when we got there, but we got down to RGV, pulled in, and got all set up for a week. And the very first night, about 5 o'clock in the morning.
Oh, it scared the hell out of me.
I mean, we stopped a couple times as an emergency in a truck stop.
Mm-hmm.
And we pull in a slot. And these truckers, they pull right alongside of us. And they let their engines run all night long. So,
earplugs.
Joni has found at Walgreens, right?
Walmart.
At Walmart?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. They are made by Equate. They come in a little pack. They're clear, silicone, really moldable earplugs. And you just kind of take them and push them in there and fit them all in there. I am not kidding.
You hear nothing.
You hear nothing.
Nothing.
It's one of those things that if something is really annoying outside and you've got to get some sleep, this is the secret. Yeah, and see, the last few years, I guess the last 3 or 4 years, I snore.
He snores.
I snore. Never used to when I was younger, but as I've gotten older, I have started to snore, and that'll keep her awake. With these earplugs, yeah, baby, I can snore away.
Snore away.
She doesn't hear a thing.
Nope.
Number 10, be open to making new friends.
Yes.
Most people like other people.
Yeah.
They like being around people, partying people, go somewhere with some other people. Some don't, and we understand that. There are some people we have met or have tried to meet, and they just want to stay in their own little spot.
Yeah, they've had a busy week, and they just want to be
or
alone.
Whatever. They're not people. There are people like that. But then there are other people like us. We're pretty outgoing people. We like meeting new people.
Yes.
We try to make things happen with other people. And you know how it is. You can quickly read whether they want anything to do with you or they don't. But we've learned to be open to meet new people. We're traveling, we're exploring, we're retired, and we really don't want to do this by ourselves. We would like to do it with other people from time to time. I mean, we don't want to have a caravan. Come on, everybody, we're going to Mexico.
And nor do I want the motorhome full of people 24/7.
Yeah.
But it's great to just be walking along, taking a little stroll, and you'll see somebody with their little dog walking, and animals are great openers.
Yeah.
Really. You stop and you pet the dog, and then you strike up a conversation with the owner.
Yeah. Sometimes we're just sitting in front of the coach. It's early in the evening. We're sitting there having a glass of wine or whatever. A couple will be walking by with their dog, and we'll say, "Hey, what's going on? What a cute little dog. Can we see him for a minute?" They'll walk over, and boom, a conversation will come up. We may talk with them for 15 or 20 minutes. And we've made several friends this way
Yes.
by that initial the icebreaker.
Yeah. Or even like go to the pool. You go to the
Yeah.
pool, you don't have to isolate yourself away from everyone in a corner. You know, kind of land in the middle of everyone.
Yeah.
You know?
We actually did that in Florida.
Mm-hmm.
We went to the pool, and you know how people kind of, there's a couple over there and a couple over there, and we came over here, but we saw a group of people in the pool that looked like they were kind of fun. And so we just jumped in the pool and just kind of waited over there a little bit and got into conversation with them. We became good friends with them. They worked at Disney. They ended up taking us to Disney. Yeah. I mean, it's just how things click. So,
and we still remain in contact with them.
Yeah, we do.
When we were in Pennsylvania, we pulled in, we got settled, and there was a woman's outside right beside us. And Martin went over and just struck up a conversation with her. And then I meandered on over, and they became really good friends. We spent a lot of time with them.
And what did she tell you after we made friends with them?
She said, you know, she says, I love people, but I would never just go over and just start talking to somebody. She says, I'm shy that way.
And I'm so glad you came over and made that first initial step.
Yep.
So, you know.
Hi, Bev.
Yeah, hi, Bev. We've learned to be open, to meet new friends, and we encourage you to be open. Take a risk. If it doesn't work out, it's okay. Yeah. You're going to be on the road in another few days. So are they. You'll never see them again. It's okay.
So just be open to it.
Yeah. So anyway, take a risk. Get out there. It'll all be good.
Yes.
There are so many things, other things that we could have covered in this video that we've learned. So these are the 10 things that we thought we would cover. We got a lot more neat stuff coming up. This is RV Street.
Stick around.